and then it shall be free.
What's up, everybody? It's Young Kier with a Metal Gear Solid 5 news update. Today I want to talk about my impressions of the behind closed doors demo that I saw at E3 2015. Most of you have probably seen the public demo, which tackled the main campaign's third mission called A Hero's Way. The demo that I saw showed off the fourth mission, which you can see listed in the public demo, called C2W. This mission's objective is basically to cripple Soviet communications by destroying 3 communication satellites scattered throughout one of their bases. If this sounds familiar to some of you, that's because some of the MGS5 preview articles did talk a bit about it. It's a fairly straightforward mission, and you won't find any mind-blowingly new information here, but you will get some new perspectives in terms of the variety of missions and the variety of ways in which they can be tackled. Anyway, without further ado, let's dive right into it. Before I begin, I do need to point out that I am under NDA contract, which means that there are a lot of things that I cannot talk about, particularly when it comes to story. I have the Yen, Sniper Wolf, and Quiet all trained at me right now, one aiming at my head, another at my heart, and another at my balls, so just save me the painful death and don't ask anything that might contain spoilers. Thanks. Alright, so back to the demo. It began in Air Command Center, similarly to the public demo, which if you watched, you already know what Air Command Center is all about, so I won't talk too much about it in this video. From here, the player selected the Mission List option, went to the All Missions tab and selected Mission 4, C2W, and then proceeded by selecting one of its multiple starting points. The player was then taken to the Sortie Preparation menu, from which Snake can choose his weapon loadout, support buddy, vehicle, and character, which I also won't talk too much about in this video. After doing so, he finally selected the Commence Mission option, which, after a brief loading screen, took Snake into the field via chopper. As that was happening, Kaz was briefing Big Boss on his mission, and opening credits appeared all around the screen. Like in the public demo, credits only appeared on the corners and sides of the screen, never in the middle or anywhere too obtrusive. Also, like in the public demo, I saw names like Punished Venom Snake and Revolver Shalashaska Ocelot. Now, the way this played out is a little different from the public demo. In the public demo, rather than selecting a mission and a starting point like in the Behind Closed Doors demo, the player chose a landing location in the Free Roam tab, which allowed him to freely roam Afghanistan. In Phantom Pain, players can tackle missions by either heading to one of the mission's starting points on foot in free roaming mode, or by selecting the mission's starting point from Air Command Center and having your chopper Pequod take you there directly. In the public demo, we were shown the former, while the Behind Closed Doors demo showed off the latter. If you go on foot, like you saw in the public demo, Mother Base will send a big green military box with an antenna and a briefcase of sorts on the surface, and the box acts as some sort of portable intel station from which Snake will download the mission briefing before the mission begins. On the other hand, if you go via Air Command Center, you will see a sequence very similar to what you see in the public demo, in which Snake is in his chopper as it makes its way to its destination. But the big difference is that in the public demo, the chopper was taking Snake to free roam mode, whereas in the Behind Closed Doors demo, the chopper was taking Snake to a main mission. If Snake is on his way to a main mission via chopper, then he will download the mission briefing from there, and he will be briefed by Kaz during the ride as they approach the starting point. Furthermore, players will be in main mission mode and be bound by a mission area right out of the gate. A similar sequence can also be seen at the beginning of the TGS 2014 demo. Once Snake landed, the first thing that could be heard was the cry of a puppy. This was obviously none other than D-Dog. After being recruited, a notification appeared on the left side of the screen stating that the wild puppy was extracted. So prior to being recruited, D-Dog is simply known as Wild Puppy. Now, something interesting that I was told is that if you couldn't find D-Dog the first time around, it's possible for you to replay the mission and recruit him. So D-Dog is pretty much a guaranteed support buddy unless you go out of your way to not get him. You have almost infinite chances to recruit him. This doesn't apply to all support buddies, however. Some support buddies may be a one-time deal only, so be on the lookout. Anyway, back to the mission. Before tackling the main mission objective, the player decided to take a detour and tackle a side op. The objective was the same one seen in the public demo, recruit a Russian translator, but the circumstances were quite different. The public demo showed the player infiltrating a massive ravaged fortress to recruit the translator, but in the behind closed doors demo, the translator was located in a small outpost consisting of a single stone hut. When I inquired about the discrepancy, I was told that the public demo's build was custom created to show off the game's features, and that the demo shown behind closed doors is more representative of the final game. Now, this doesn't mean that side ops won't feature massive facilities and extensive objectives. Keep in mind that the translator side op is one of the first ones you will tackle, but I'm sure you can expect to find larger and more extensive side ops as you progress through the game. In fact, numerous MGS5 preview articles have stated that some of the coolest and biggest missions can be found in side ops. So anyway, outside the hut were two guards talking to each other, one of them being the translator. Something very cool that the presentation highlighted is that by zooming in on them with the int scope, it's possible to hear the translator teaching the other guard English. I could hear the translator uttering an English sentence a few words at a time as the other guard attempted to follow along. It was a cool little detail, and it's another way to identify the translator. After the player tagged the translator, Kaz followed up via radio with confirmation that the tagged target was indeed the translator they were looking for. After waiting for the two guards to separate, the player eventually managed to knock the translator out without alerting the other guard. He then carried the translator a good distance away from the hut before Fultoning him back to Mother Base. The reason for this was because guards can not only see Fulton balloons suspended in the air, they can also hear the screams of people who are being Fultoned away. Following his extraction, the iDroid confirmed that the side op was successfully completed, and the player proceeded by heading towards the main mission objective. There are a number of different ways in which this mission can be tackled, and the way the player I saw did it was that he tagged all of the communication satellites and made sure he knew their locations before deciding on the best way to destroy them. Now, something very cool is that at one point, the player found a small room in one of the buildings in the base housing a communication relay that connected to all of the communication satellites he had to destroy, and by destroying the relay, it's possible to disable all of the satellites at once. So it seems as though the game rewards recon and exploration by offering the possibility of finding simpler solutions to big problems. But instead of taking the easy way out, the player decided to destroy the satellite dishes individually instead, and he successfully did so by using a combination of C4 and explosive weaponry. In the process, he was detected at one point, but he swiftly managed to get away, calling in Pequod at the right time to make his way out of what's called the Hot Zone. Exiting the Hot Zone after completing all of the mission objectives will result in mission completion. Now, I did ask if players can exit the Hot Zone by land on foot and complete missions that way, and the answer to that was yes. Doing so will take players directly to free roam mode. Players who are extracted via chopper, on the other hand, will be taken straight to Air Command Center. And that's where the demo ended. Again, nothing mind-blowing in terms of new information, but still some cool insight into the many ways that Phantom Pain allows players to tackle missions. With that, I would like to end this news update. Thank you for tuning in. To be further updated on Metal Gear Solid 5, stay tuned right here on Young Yeah. I'll see you guys next time. Young out.